And with this case, is there any relevance at all to the Man City 115 case, and could they potentially take any heart from it, from the result of it?
I think very limited. I mean, the cases are very different. There's one or two aspects of the City case that may have a specific issue in respect of the drafting of the rules back in 2009 to 2013, particularly in relation to Mancini. But that wouldn't, the fact that this has been decided as it's been decided in this case really has very little bearing. I think the biggest thing that that City will probably be thinking about and cautious about is just the difference really in quality between the individuals who are selected for an independent commission versus those on the appeal board. As I said before, the appeal board had two former Court of Appeal judges and another barrister hearing the case, whereas the original independent commission was just not as senior and not as high quality a panel as you would expect. You would not expect the lower level tribunal to be at the same level as the appeal, but it does give City potential risk because a lot of the decisions that are made by that initial independent commission are unlikely to be able to be challenged in the appeal. So if it went against City, a lot of the things that are found to be fact by that initial independent commission, City will be stuck with those as fact. And the same goes the other way around. I mean, the Premier League also, things that are found to be the case by the original commission will really bind, in all likelihood, the appeal. The appeal is more likely to be focused on points of law or misunderstandings or gaps in the judgment or pure mistakes. So I wouldn't read too much into it in terms of City. I think the cases are sufficiently different to distinguish between them.
And the Daily Mail reported this week that that case, Man City's case, could cost the Premier League tens of millions in legal fees. Is that likely, given the complexity of it?
Yeah, and it's always been the case. I mean, I've always used the analogy, which I think is now proven to be a good one, from a cost perspective and from a challenge perspective, to compare it with a High Court commercial case, and that was exactly, again, as it was framed within the Everton and Premier League costs hearing. And there's no question that a case of the complexity of the City case, if it was in the High Court, would cost an enormous amount of money, and it will be exactly the same here. The players are the same. The barristers and the solicitors and the work that's going on is the same as it would be in the High Court. And both parties appear, when you look at the quality of their representation, both parties appear to have spared nothing in terms of pursuing the case and nothing in terms of defending the case. So I would expect the bills to be extremely high and many millions of pounds, especially when you compare it to the Everton case, which was relatively simple, yet the Premier League's bills alone on that case were £5 million. So look, there's no way around it. The scale of the allegations and the type of allegations that the Premier League have made against City means that the trial of it will be extraordinarily expensive for both parties, and it's just one of those things.
And then away from all the financial stuff, I saw that Guardiola's given £10,000 bonus to up to 70 Man City support staff. Is that quite an unusual gesture from a manager to some of the staff around the club, just to say thanks for this work they do?
Well, I've never heard of it before. I mean, I remember Sergio Aguero gave away his car to one of the support staff when he left. I think he held a ballot and just gave it to somebody, which was a nice gesture. But to give, 700 grand, I think, is that what he gave?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty generous, right? But he's a wealthy guy, so it's hard to judge how it feels to give away 700 grand if you're as wealthy as Guardiola. But it's a lovely gesture. I think if it's all true, then clearly.